All right. So, Marie, we're moving into part three and we're talking a lot more about leveling up. Tell me, what do you think are the biggest challenges that future EX leaders are going to have to face?
Sure. Good question. I think there's quite a few if I think about the challenges, but the one that really stands out for me is it's just the shift in power. There's many leaders and managers are not used to this, where the world is leaning towards a place of almost a democratization of employee views. And by that, I mean that the employee holds a lot of power in influencing decisions and cultures and how things get done. And I think cultures where leaders are not used to that will be a major challenge is going to be that shift in power. And of course, there needs to be a balance. But certainly what we're seeing is that a greater shift towards the employee. So I'll say that's the one. The other one is this gig economy is quite complex, right? And we spoke about it previously.
Yeah.
It's really like desolating and all the moving parts around saying previously people had a role and leaders managed a particular role. Now it's about outsourcing a skill and making sure that those deliverables are met. And it's not within the container of a particular role. So I think all those moving pieces might be very complex for leaders to manage, particularly because there is no guide. So it is new, employee experience is new for many people. It's about trial and error. And so I think organizations that are more prone to learning and a little bit more forgiving when it comes to making mistakes are the ones that are going to get ahead, as opposed to those that are looking for a clear, definitive guideline. So I think those two things really stick out for me, the gig economy and certainly the shift of power we see to employees.
Yeah, I agree. I think the shift in power is a very interesting one to me because I think that it really does go against the way, also in terms of how policies and procedures are structured in a business. It's going to provide quite a lot of challenges and a very much a kind of Carol Dweck growth mindset from a leadership perspective.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And look, and I say this again, is that employee experience is previously it was a nice to have. Now it's a key priority. It's mainstream, it's standard in terms of how businesses are operating. But there isn't a clear guideline. And so it's important that leaders are innovative. They take the blows with the successes. And it's going to be a combination of learnings and trial and error.
Yeah, I think as well, and is something we've been talking about a lot, just as a general, is the expectation of an employee now is really set, especially from a technology perspective, is really set by what's happening out there, in the metaverse and in all these different things. That the expectation of what an employer will be providing is being set by these huge companies and these big external factors that are kind of a business has to keep up with, just because that's the base level expectation. It's quite difficult for a leader to keep up with, a Mark Zuckerberg kind of budget.
No, you're spot on. I think that there is high expectations, but at the core of it, I think all organizations have got a context which they operate in, and it's important that they understand that context. That's probably one of the most important things around what is the listening strategy in terms of what employees want. And how is it unique for that particular context? Because at the end of it all, irrespective of all these sophisticated tools that other organizations may be using, employees at the core of it want four basic things. It's a sense of purpose, to enjoy the work that they do, they connect with people and leaders, and they're allowed individual growth and some autonomy. So if you can kind of anchor your solutions in one of those four areas, it does not necessarily have to operate in the metaverse, but it needs to be contextual and it needs to meet the employee's needs.